everybody. This is Jordan McConnell with the Crohn's Veteran Podcast and
Mason Milne of the Crohn's and Autism Awareness Advocate Podcast.
And we're here with a special World IBD Day episode, celebrating folks with Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and related IBD conditions all over the world. And Mason's, showing that love with an awesome background.
Yeah. I thought today, for anyone watching, that it's World IBD Day, so why not do a background of the world?
Right. And so, we wanted to talk about, in order to, bring awareness to folks out there. Mason and I, we said both host our own podcast, and we wanted to, talk about, the background of those shows, how we came up with them, why we do what we do, and what we hope to accomplish in the future with our platforms, and what these shows have have meant to us, and how they impacted our lives as well as others.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it seems that, I think it's 2020. I think we both started those shows. I think it was Jordan, wasn't it? Because we started at similar times, near enough the same time, but because we kind of connected at first on Instagram. I think you sent me a message for a live, and then ever since then we've still stayed in contact with our shows. Yep.
Actually, I was doing some lives, I believe, maybe late 2019 and maybe early 2020, and then maybe we had done a show, and I had met you, and then you had started your show first. This is you started your show first, and then I was like, man, I think you were maybe 18 or something at the time. And so, and so I was like, oh my gosh, here I am, 30-something years old, and I'm like, oh, should I do a podcast? And this guy's 18 years old. He has Crohn's also. He's not scared. He's not. He's being, bringing awareness, all this stuff. So if he can do it, I can do it. And so that's why I started my show, after you.
Yeah. I think it was good because I was just starting off. At that stage, it was the logo wasn't what it looks like now. It was nothing was the same. I probably changed the name as well a couple of times. Well, twice I'd say. First I'd say My Journey with Crohn's Disease, it was called, and then I changed it to Crohn's and Crohn's and Autism Awareness Advocate, where we speak about that kind of stuff on my show. Because I feel like it's good when you speak about multiple things, not just one thing on a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's I've been trying to work on a little bit, broadening that out. And so I just had, in addition to speaking with folks with Crohn's disease, colitis and all that stuff, I've been speaking to folks that have other are related to my own life, in different ways, so people can kind of know who the Crohn's veteran is, a little bit more, because I've just been kind of just sharing just the Crohn's diagnosis part of my life a lot, and so I think it's but I'm not just Crohn's, I have a job and those other kind of things, and so I'm trying to share kind of the whole person a little bit more in my platform.
Yeah, I think it's good because I think you had a bit of a break, didn't you, Jordan? From doing your podcast, and just started getting back into it. I
did, and so so for folks that don't know, again, I started my show. I've done about 60 episodes with myself and my two co-hosts, at the time, and but I said again, I was doing this show, which I started making during COVID, or my platform I started during COVID, and so I was doing that. I was still trying to be employed, and having a job and stuff, and so and then I was working on side projects and all this stuff, and so long story short, I burned myself out in a big way, and so everything with got put on the back burner pretty much, besides my family and my job, and so for a little while, and so just to kind of focus on healing and being just a healthier person, so because you can't be an advocate for a chronic illness or whatever if your own cup is empty, right? And so And and my cup has become completely empty with, trying to do all this stuff for other people, but not doing enough for myself. And so this 2022 has been, all about, making sure that myself and my family and what I need to do is, coming first. And that's kind of what the rest of the year, the rest of my life is kind of looking like, just making sure that, just making sure that I'm taking care of my own needs, healthy boundaries, self-care, self-love, all these fun things. And so I can be not only physically healthy with Crohn's, hopefully, but also mentally and spiritually healthy as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, it's important, isn't it? Like, just to make sure you're doing all right, because you can do a podcast anytime, can't we?
Right.
But I suppose I never had a proper break at all yet, which I'm planning to. I'm planning to have a nice break in the summer, which is why for my podcast and to ones listening will know that they like to do an advance over here on mine, because I find it much easier. If you keep it frequently. So yeah, the later part of this year, I do plan to have a good, nice break. Even though I'll probably be a bit sad in a way, because it's something that keeps me busy, and I don't have an actual job because of COVID and everything, which is quite annoying. But if I did have a job, I'd probably a job, not a podcasting job. It will probably I probably wouldn't be as active doing a podcast and that all the time.
You said, yeah. So, like, excuse me. Yeah. So that's a good question. Like, if you can, wave a magic wand and and have any career that you would like, what would that be?
It's always been like it's like I had actually a conversation with someone recently, and I said about what I want to do, and what I like to do anyway. It was quite funny because they affect probably Crohn's massively. What I want to do, I'll probably be shattered at the end of the day. Like, acting is something I always like to do. People who know me will know I like shows like Doctor Who, for example. I do quite a lot of videos beside of having a chronic illness, just to my hobby. I like doing that. And a good thing about having a podcast is I meet so many people who are interested in that too.
Right.
With Doctor Who, and which is why, Jordan, I thought of doing a series later on in the year about called based around autism and Doctor Who, because and I thought it's a special interest with many people in the autism community too. So I thought actually starting to record that now. Late last month, early May, and then it's gonna go on to then. But yeah, that is something I would like to do, acting, but it's very hard. It's a very hard job. And sports coaching, like football, like over in the UK, of course we call it different to over there in America, don't we, Jordan? It always gets mixed up, doesn't it?
You got to say American football just so so people know what you're talking about.
Yeah. American football in America and football over here in the UK, and like a football coach. I got my qualified. I'm all qualified. I got my I did my things before COVID hit, and then that's what I want to do. And I've got opportunities, but it's just hoping things over here calm down, because there's no restrictions anymore. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Like, so you heard it here first. Anybody out there listening, hire Mason for well-paid acting gigs. So he's ready.
It'd be nice to get paid once in a while.
Well-paid, very, very well-paid acting gigs. That's what Mason needs right now. Like, I want to see you. I want to see you in movies. I want to see you on Netflix. I want to see you everywhere. So
It'd be nice being a nice Netflix film. I watch them too much, so I don't know if I watch me though.
I have a I have a friend like that I grew up with that it was the same thing, like acting, stand-up comedian, like all this stuff. And to me, like it's a very like liberating like that's a very liberating career and stuff like that. But yeah, it is, to get traction is difficult, because there's so many talented people, and is this, really, man, I think besides being talented and besides knowing people and stuff like that, and besides having connections, it's just like out hustling and out working people, being consistently and showing up and stuff. Like, that's, my own humble opinion. I don't, I don't know for sure, but I do know that just, you know, just by looking, like other folks, that it's difficult to, you can be very talented, but actually getting, put on, is very, is hard. It's hard. And so, but that doesn't mean that people should give up on their dreams. You just got to go get it, not give up. And so, I would say to you, like, doing what you just keep, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Follow those dreams. Like, I said, that's why you gotta, if you want to be a football coach, if you want to do acting, if you want to do both, if you want to do, this show, if you want to, people got to know what what you're out there trying to do, while you're doing, type thing. And while you're trying to make it happen yourself, let people know that, hey, I'm trying to work on this goal. I'm trying to work on this dream. Can you help me?
Yeah.
And so, and that, like, how can I be of service to you? So,
yeah, I think it's something like you need a job that you're interested in, like that you like to do, I think.
Right. And so, so for folks that don't know Mason, since this is the World IBD episode, like, kind of summarize, your own diagnosis with with Crohn's, and and let folks know what you go through.
Yeah. So what I love about this episode, that it's going to be on both podcasts. So people who listen on mine probably not know Jordan. So it's going to be nice after I'll explain a bit about me, and then we go over to Jordan. But a bit about me, my diagnosis. Like, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2017, October of 2017, and that whole year was probably a difficult year. I lost quite a lot of weight, and didn't understand why, and I wasn't eating too, and had quite a lot of pain in my right hand side, like inside my stomach, kind of like you're on fire and acidy, and yeah, it seems a long time ago, 2017 for me, even though it wasn't. I would like to be back in, well, I would like to know more at that time when I was diagnosed, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know about IBD, inflammatory bowel disease, and didn't know what Crohn's was, and it took time to kind of understand it, and that's why I created my page and awareness, so I publicly to raise awareness for Crohn's, and that was in 2020, kind of similar to the time when me and Jordan kind of met and connected with one another, and it was very interesting as well. But yeah, like, I was put on quite a lot of medication, and still am. I still take medication every day, which of people, it can be hard being on medication because you don't want to, but although at the same time it can help us. But we're having Crohn's disease. We just never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we've got like we said, like had to cancel a few times, like a podcast even, or even just meeting up with people in general. So yeah, that's about me. And to get diagnosed, I had a colonoscopy, which was hard, I'd say, because I never had one before. So but since then I did have a sigmoidoscopy last year, just to check everything. So yeah, that's like my diagnosis. I'm doing I say I'm doing quite better now, because I haven't really experienced that pain I did for a while, but you still get other symptoms like fatigue and stuff like that. So that's a little bit about me. If you want to hear about my story a little bit there.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. And again, if you want to hear more of Mason's story, you can definitely go on his Instagram and check him out, and check out his show. I definitely encourage folks to do so. For me, my Crohn's was a little bit further back. I was diagnosed with Crohn's in October 1995. And then when I was in ninth grade, and so I had my appendix removed at the time. It was exploratory, kind of emergency surgery. I had my 6 inches of my colon taken out. Just like Mason, I didn't know what Crohn's was, IBD was, any of that stuff was at the time. But I did know that I was, on Friday I was fine, and on Sunday I had Crohn's disease. And so it was pretty fast, for me. And then actually I was actually pretty healthy for the next 14 years. I was, healthy enough to join the military, hence the Crohn's veteran and the camo and all that kind of stuff. So I did 5 years active duty and a year in the California Air National Guard, and then about 2.5 years in the Nebraska Air National Guard in the Air Force and stuff. And so, but then I got sick again in 2009 when I was in the Air National Guard. And so that resulted in me going to the emergency room about 3 or 4 times. I also lost weight. I was just in agonizing pain, every day. I lost my job. I lost my car. I lost, pretty much everything, in that 6-month, time frame, and lost my health. And so the third time I think I went to the hospital, I got temporary ostomy, ileostomy, I believe it's called. And then the fourth time I went to the hospital, all for, pain, emergency room type stuff. The very last time I went to the hospital is when they actually took another 18 inches of my colon out, and they took my ileum out. And that whole hospital experience, from what I've been told, I was, was just, pretty traumatic. Actually, I was there, but but the whole, just the experience itself was just very traumatic. And I had no effective anesthesia after that surgery for about 48 hours. And so I had this, gigantic incision, that went all the way down the front of my stomach, around my belly button and everything, that was all stapled, all the way down. And so, I had all this, cut out of me, and I had no anesthesia for about 2 days, because, you're probably wondering, well, why that happened. And the reason that happened is that they gave you like a morphine drip in the hospital or whatever, and say, okay, yeah, push this button. And if you push this button, it will go to your stomach, and, the incision, and, you'll feel better. The problem was, when I pushed that button, instead of the incision going numb, my right leg went numb. And so, which is not good. So what they did is actually pulled out the epidural, which is usually used for pregnant women when they're giving birth. But I had this epidural in my back for my surgery, so they wheeled me into the hospital, to another room, and pulled the epidural out of my back, and then put the epidural back in my back, and then they wheeled me back into the room, and then I pushed the button again, and then my left leg went up. So I never had any effective anesthesia, maybe. So the second day, I think they finally figured it out. And so with that, plus catheters, plus tubes taken out, and all these things, like, it was pretty traumatic. And so I would say, and so on top of all that trauma, I actually all that sickness made me, and kind of ineligible to be in the military. And so, because I actually got a letter saying that, hey, because of this surgery, because of Crohn's disease, you can't be anywhere in the world with limited medical supplies. And then maybe the next week or so, I got a letter in the mail, and it was an honorable discharge from the military. And so, very anticlimactic. And so fast forward to the last few years, I finally got better jobs and stuff, and I was able to get better insurance. And so I started going to the doctor more, so getting colonoscopies, and because I already knew I had Crohn's and stuff. And so so I got put on Remicade for a while. Actually, there's another drug before that, but that maybe it's like a Stelara type drug or something that you give, like a shot of your stomach. But eventually I got on Remicade, and I took that for maybe a couple of years, and the doctors were saying, hey, you know, you should be fine, you should be feeling better, but that was not the case. And so it turned out because of the ileum being removed, I have bile acid malabsorption in addition to Crohn's disease. So I got put on a medicine called Prevolite. Prevolite actually helps me digest Crohn's friendly food pretty normally. So so with healthy lifestyle, low stress medicine, I can actually have some kind of semblance of remission. But that's that's still a tremendous amount of work. And again, the medicine that I do have doesn't solve Crohn's, doesn't solve bile acid malabsorption. It just treats it. And so that's a very clear distinction. I have no effective actual solution. I just have treatment. And so but it makes me feel well enough, just enough to be able to talk to Mason today, to be able to have this show, to be able to continue to work, to be able to continue to take care of my family. So I am extremely grateful that I have medicine, I have my health, and and that I have this platform to not only share this not only share the stories of other people that are going through Crohn's related stuff, IBS stuff, but also a little bit of my story too.
Yeah, I think it's good that we can just come on here, have a chat, and just talk about our journeys. And I think the IBD Day comes around once a year, but I don't think I've actually done an episode on my podcast based around it. I don't know about you, Jordan, because I've never really done it about IBD. I thought my podcast is quite well based around IBD, but I've actually done a specific episode on IBD Day.
Yeah, I don't think I've done a specific. I think that I might have started my Crohn's veteran Instagram account on World IBD Day. Like this, and so it's a little fun fact, I guess. That, but as far as doing specific content or any of that kind of stuff, not so. I don't think so. And so this is why it's kind of fun. Me being here in Las Vegas, you being over there in the UK, it really kind of brings both sides together. And lets folks know that Crohn's disease, IBD. This doesn't matter where you're from or what you look like. It can, everybody needs support.
Definitely. I think so, because it is really important, because I do like these awareness days that they do. It kind of is special, but we do raise awareness that all the time, well, most of the year anyway, when we can. It may not I may not on my podcast do every episode about Crohn's or ulcerative colitis or IBD. It's why it's good to mix these things out, because I think it is Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Month as well this month, I believe. I think that's what happens in May anyway. I'm not sure, because we get so many of these awareness days, don't we?
We do. I mean, so we are. That's a good thing, is that IBD Crohn's is trying to get some love. It seems like every day on TV there's a new commercial that's trying to sell some drug, at least in America, trying to sell some drug that that treats Crohn's disease. And so but it used to be not like that at all. It used to be people didn't know. So it's really cool to kind of see issues related to the IBD community getting a lot more publicity like that. I think it's really important. So what do you speaking of waving a magic wand, if you could wave a magic wand and your platform, your show is where you want it to be, your ultimate vision for that, what would that be?
It would be that me and Jordan have we spoke this quite a lot, about our shows and where we want to do with them, because for me, I didn't think I would. I suppose it was more of a hobby to start with, to do this kind of podcast thing, because I didn't know what podcast was when I actually created my show. I think, I do know what it was. I had to look what it was, and then you go on Spotify and you have a look. And I used to kind of end of last year, start of this year, putting video forms on YouTube, which I think is awesome. It offers people a watchable audience too. But things that I would want to do or see is like merchandise. It'd be nice people to have, but buy my logo or like on shirts and cups and like your coffee cup if you like your coffees and stuff like that, and beyond. Let's have a good website going, and a place where people can actually book in. Like if I still like to ask people myself, but it's just a chance of people, if they are interested and they do want to come in, they can have that chance. And I'd love to get paid. I would. I'd like to get paid for doing what I'm doing, because at the moment it's just something I choose to do.
Right.
Like I said at the beginning, it's not I have a job, but I have a specific job. I just do that because I like to, and I give other people the platform for them to share their story to me, and then like I try to make a good conversation out of it, and like it'd be a reward, I suppose, if that did happen someday. Like because it would be nice. If you agree there, Jordan.
Yeah, I would definitely agree, man. I think there's nothing to be, embarrassed or anything, having shame or whatever, for feeling that you should be compensated for the time and effort you put in, to your show. And so, like, I think it's, that's, to me, like, you're providing, a lot of value to people, and I think it's, to me, like, striving to kind of offset, your time is okay. And so, that's what, I'm the same way with this show. Like, it's a labor of love, right? And so, like, it's, it kind of comes from the heart. It's not, it's, and the idea, beyond just, offsetting my time a little bit, the greater goal is to uplift and change and impact people's lives, all over the world. And so, so that's the ultimate goal. And so, with me, with, Crohn's veteran, not only do I want to, talk to and impact and uplift people with IBD conditions, again, worldwide, internationally. That's my real passion, is just listening to stories and listening to experiences and perspectives from as many walks of life as possible. I love doing it. It makes me very happy. And also, not only that, I also want to, generate, revenue, generate money here, like a lot of it, not for myself, but to, help people with IBD, in many different ways, fun ways. Like, it could be, fundraisers, it could be, like, scholarship programs, it could be paying off medical bills, it could be, fun trips, it could be, like like a romantic getaway, it could be, a bathroom renovation, whatever, like, just, whatever makes that person with IBD's life better. To me, like, you need to have a lot of money inflow, a lot of cash flow, coming in, so that can flow out and help other people, right? And so to me, there's nothing wrong, again, with, wanting to be, financially flush, through these platforms. And so, again, you can, use that, abundance to add joy to other people's lives. And so that's what I want to do. That's my ultimate goal, is to be able to, spread the love, and ease the burdens of people with IBD. And so,
I think it is nice, like you just give people a chance, don't you, to talk about IBD and inflammatory bowel disease. And I recently updated. Well, it's something I do. I like to hear about other people's chronic illnesses too, because there are others out there other than Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, IBD, that are there, and like we only know about Crohn's because we have it ourselves.
right.
But I don't think we might have known it now because it is more common. Like you go out and you say, I got Crohn's disease, and they say they know what it is, but they may not. They say that, but they may not. It's just more. I think it's more common. I think as you get diagnosed, you hear that kind of stuff. But I spoke to a few people on my show about different other chronic illnesses, and I think it's good because like we're learning as well, aren't we, on our shows, and about different things.
We have. I mean, it's two things. One is that I have learned, so much, like just from listening to other people's experiences, like, you know, people like because it's so. I mean, like Crohn's disease and IBD stuff is it's such a range of realities. It could be like I had a stomach ache and I started taking some medicine and I started feeling better, and then now and then my life is pretty close to normal. So all the way to the opposite, polar opposite of that, to where you've had dozens of surgeries, your whole colon taken out, all these different, traumatic, life altering, PTSD or whatever, inducing, scenarios or whatever. And so, and then everything in between. And so, and I'm just, I'm just so grateful for people, coming onto my show, and sharing that, because, I get a lot out of it myself. It's not, everybody wins. I really, we're able to, provide value and provide, lived experiences for the audience, and also, I also get, um, that personal enlightenment myself. And so, and then the second thing is that, that's why I'm gonna go back a little bit about, about where I want to see the show, where I want to see the platform. This hat that I have on, means the world to me. And I wear it everywhere. On the back it says Crohn's Vet, right, right above it. And I live this, and and to me, the idea that people wear Crohn's veteran stuff, out there in the world, just is the coolest thing, because if somebody sees my shirt or or a hat or those kind of things and says, "Hey, what's that?" You can say, "Yeah, it's for Crohn's disease awareness." Bam, somebody has become literally aware about the kind of things that we go through. And so I want this this lifestyle brand, this merchandise. I want to sell a lot of it again. So for kind of for again a win-win. Not only am I able to help a lot of people by with the money that I make from it, but also all those people wearing it brings again awareness to IBD related issues. So that's so I'm really focused on not only growing the show, but also growing the brand itself too.
Yeah, I think that'd be good, like to do, really, wouldn't it? Because like I haven't done anything like that on my show. I've just been recording and recording and recording. But like it would be nice to have that kind of thing, like you have merchandise to give out, like if people like to have, and like they say they've been on the show and stuff, and people reach out. Quite recently I had a fair few people reaching out to want to come on, and I think that's awesome. Like I think it's good, your show's doing well if people are reaching out to you, and and stuff, because it is rewarding, and like it's not about the money for me. I'm more than happy to do it.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Like
without it.
I did 60 episodes. I mean, or I think I'm on 63 right now. But the idea, yeah, I just love doing it. Like, the I would maybe like a better recording situation for the show and stuff like that. But I just love doing it. It's kind of like that's the reason I'm back. That's the reason that the break is over, is because I love doing this. It makes me happy. I get I feel like not only am I getting all this satisfaction out of it, but I'm doing something that's bigger than me, and I'm trying to get back to my community, and help others. All this fun stuff. It's very satisfying. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and I think it's something that we enjoy to do, and we do have breaks. Like it's good to have them sort of breaks, like not to do it all the time. Like I said before, I do want a break. I'm gonna have a break. Like of recording, still episodes will go out though. But there'll be maybe a point maybe later on this year where there's not as many going out as it would be, and that's because I want a break. Like Jordan had a good break with his show. Like maybe a break just to get maybe a website underway. Having more time to sit down and think about that, and think about the merchandise side of things. with maybe an episode going out every now and then. Like I like to do seasonal episodes, like different times of the year, like a certain episode or something.
Yep.
Which is why sprung to mind about IBD Day and stuff.
Yep.
Because that's an iconic time of the year.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think it's a great idea. I really want to just, kind of explore new approaches to my show, just try to, make kind of just, some better content, more compelling content. I'm really trying to grow my audience. I'm really trying to reach as many people as I can with, with this, IBD message. And so with that, Mason, I think we should wrap up our World IBD show. How can people find Mason, support Mason, and and what you do?
Well, you can find my show on the majority of platforms, Crohn's and Autism Awareness Advocate, where you'll see it and you can engage with it. And at the moment, we're on like most platforms, like social medias and stuff like that. Like with like known as Advocate for Crohn's, like advocate_for_Crohn's, but that is possibly going to be changed. And the reason is because we do autism content and Crohn's content on the majority of the two content we do. Well, I say we, that's me. It will, like I think about changing it to add autism into it somehow, because I feel like that will give the audience that I spread content about Crohn's and autism, because not just Crohn's, and but at the moment it's Advocate for Crohn's. That's on YouTube as well. On Facebook at the moment it's My Journey with Crohn's Disease, which once this change is done, you'll know. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Like with those kind of names and stuff. But with Jordan, where can they find you?
They can find me. Well, first and foremost, if you would like to be a guest on the Crohn's Veteran podcast, you can email me at Jordan@Crohn'sVeteran, CrohnsVeteran, CrohnsVeteran.com. I would love to talk to you. I'd love to hear from you. You also can reach me on my website, which is www.CrohnsVeteran.com. You can check out most recent episodes. You can check out the merch store. There's a direct link to the store on there. It's just great place to be. Check it out. Check out the website. Please support me. Also, the podcast itself is on Anchor. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's on Google. Everywhere. YouTube. Follow, like, subscribe, support, share, all that good stuff. It means the world to me. Your support matters. And sharing and listening, streaming, all that matters. So please listen to all the episodes. Please share, and please give me some feedback on how I can serve the IBD community better. And so that's what I got. Also, of course, I'm on Crohn's Veteran on Instagram, and official.CrohnsVeteran for or Crohn's Veteran for myself on Instagram, and then official.CrohnsVeteran for the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. And last few things before we finish, Jordan, I was thinking about, because on my show, I always ask the guests at the end for any advice that they would give. Is there any advice that maybe we can both share a bit of advice before we go? Like, is there any advice that you would give to anyone?
Yes. It's a great idea, Mason. A great idea. And so the advice that I would give to anybody out there with Crohn's disease or IBD, or anybody going through adversity, is to always believe in yourself. Don't give up, and be very careful who you make an outside authority on your life. Be careful who you let tell who you are. Because people with IBD, you can say I'm going through this, and then somebody close to you can say, well, Mason, maybe you shouldn't have had that candy bar. Like you can eat yourself, like you can eat yourself to better health, or something like that's an example. It's really important, I would say, to um, be honest with yourself, and be very aware, of the people that are in your circle, because Crohn's disease is in IBD is such a can be all encompassing sometimes. And so my advice is to really work hard on having a circle, having a support system in your life that really supports you, loves you, and is gunning, is kind of gunning for your success. Not only with your health, but in life.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree with everything you say, more, Jordan, because it is yeah, it's very important, and like you say, like what we've mentioned, that candy bar, like having a Crohn's doesn't, it's not a bad thing. Like that may be edible for us, and we may not be able to have like good things that are classed as good things, that are good for our health. But like I speak to some people normally, and that always comes up. But there's things we like food. We eat what we can, when we can, and when we want. We can't appreciate that, because not everyone gets that privilege to eat
Right,
what we can, and stuff, because we never know whether flare-up's going to happen, when something will go down with us.
right.
Yeah,
It's kind of like rolling the dice. Just because you're able to eat that piece of toast yesterday doesn't mean you're able to eat that piece of toast today.
definitely,
And,
definitely, and
and
I
so,
completely,
um, and so
yeah,
I would say it again. An invisible illness. No one. No one. There's no gain from making up an inflammatory bowel disease. So if somebody says, I have an inflammatory bowel disease and this is how it affects my life, please believe them. And please, support those people, because they're trying to make life happen, with all these things going on in the background. My advice to the people without IBD out there is to be kind to those, is to practice empathy and compassion.
yeah,
Practice empathy and compassion for the people in your lives that deal with these conditions, because you never know how your kind words or kind actions can change somebody's life and impact somebody's life.
definitely, definitely. I completely agree again, Jordan. And just to finish up, I'll give some maybe advice that I'd give
Yeah.
out too. I think that it's important to like, if you're in pain or you're struggling, and it's to get checked, and dramatically push to get checked, because when I was getting diagnosed, didn't think any of it, and doctors and places didn't really think of it as well. Like the day I said I had to wait another month, and I couldn't wait another month, and I would have needed surgery if I waited that extra month. So it's always try and push. I know it can be hard, and like when you get diagnosed, it's probably the hardest part of your journey. But like, although other parts can be hard too, but once you get that diagnosis, it does start to get easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A little
Uh,
bit. Even though
you
we have
know,
our bad days, our good days, but I'll say just be the best person you can be, because um like I'm here, like most people know, if they watch the show, I don't normally have a background. Because I thought a background today, because it's World IBD Day, and it's not every day that we'll see the world behind me
exactly.
on an episode. But yeah, I think just be yourself, like vent out. It's okay to cry, because there is a stigma about like men crying, isn't there, Jordan?
There is,
About, yeah,
emotions are normal. It's okay to have, it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to, I said, maybe practice, care on who you're vulnerable around, or, or actually may pay attention to how your vulnerability, affects the people around you. And so, because, that, just, I was just talking to a family member about this, about vulnerability, and they say, yeah, man, to me, vulnerability is a really good filter, of for the people around you. So like, hey, like, oh wow, Mason told me he goes through these kind of symptoms. Jordan said that he goes through these type of symptoms, and how do people take that, around you? And so, and then that will really help you decide, who's in the, who's rooting for you.
Yeah, yeah, because like people got like you've seen the community, lots of people do create these pages around it, and you feel like I suppose people wouldn't understand it if you just didn't maybe create an account or a podcast around what we do, and we do it because we want to do it. Like we didn't have to do a podcast in the first place, did we, Jordan?
No,
You
no,
know?
it's that this is literally because, I want to, because you want to, no one's making us, we're not obligated, we're not pressured. One advice, like, practice aggressive self-love and self-care, and practice, very healthy boundaries. It does not mean being mean to people. It does not mean being, uh, harsh or anything like that, but, protect your peace, protect your health, practice self-love, practice self-care, go outside, get fresh air,
Yeah,
do what you got to do to, to maintain your own peace. Because, again, you can't, yeah, your mindset and your physical health are directly tied. And so, you can't just eat better food and take medicine and, say I'll be better, because if upstairs, if the way you view yourself and the way you feel the world isn't that aligned, you'll still be sick.
definitely. Well, completely agree. Can't agree more, because like health is really important, and being self-care is important as well. So I completely
Definitely.
completely
And
agree,
it's a
Jordan.
journey. It's a journey. So again, it's a journey. Don't beat yourself up. I said practice self-love. Tell yourself nice things, and it's a journey. Life is a marathon. So just take it one day at a time. And yeah, I said also again, outside authority. So if you feel like your doctors or whatever aren't the right fit, ask questions. Be assertive. Advocate for yourself. And just and ask, of course, engage with the IBD community out there too if you haven't. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
I say, Mason's out there, to talk to. I'm here. There's a lot of other people, a lot of great resources, out there. That, there's so many resources out there. So, but with that, uh, again, thanks everybody for listening to the show. If you found value in what we do, please support us. It means the world. And and again, check me out, crohnsveteran.com. And Mason, where can they find you again?
advocate for Crohn's, but that's all to be in a works of probably changing it to more autism involvement too. But at the moment, advocate for Crohn's on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. We got My Journey with Crohn's Disease, and podcast Crohn's Autism Awareness Advocate on Spotify, Anchor, Apple, anywhere that you listen to your lovely podcast shows.
Awesome. Well, again, I'm Jordan McConnell, Crohn's Veteran Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and take care, and much love and respect.
Thanks, guys.